Welcome to Goads Questorials, where we walk through how to complete a Dark and Darker quest in the shortest and most optimum time possible. For this video, we're going to be deconstructing and plotting the fastest routes for Away with the Greenskins. The goal for this quest is simple, but by watching this video, I guarantee you will be able to complete this quest in a single lobby and accelerate the rate at which you quest on multiple characters. If you don't give a shit about how the sausage is made, don't care about the specifics, and you just want to hop in and start killing, I'm going to flash the routes on screen, so feel free to pause it here. But if you like learning about the game like I do, then let's get sweaty with it and dive into the meat and potatoes. As of Season 4, Away with the Greenskins is the first quest for the Goblin and requires the killing of 5 Goblin Archers, 5 Goblin Axemen, and 5 Goblin Warriors. The first step to deconstruct this quest is to take stock of exactly how many eligible spawns in Goblin Caves would qualify for kill credit. You can't use the Spells and Guns map, because if you've watched my Goadsploration series, then you'd know that in some modules spawns are linked, so if one mob can spawn in 3 places within a module, then 3 monster markers are used, which would give an inaccurate count for kill efficiency. To get an accurate count of goblins, you'd have to manually traverse every module in the map to confirm goblin targets, which, frankly, is fucking insane. So that's exactly what I did. On screen now is a sheet I've compiled where I explored every module and killed every goblin to figure out exactly what the eligible mob distribution is. I break it down into mobs that are always warriors, always axemen, vary between the two, always archers, and mobs that can spawn as archers but have other permutations. The important note about this data is this: Goblin Warriors are the most plentiful, followed by axemen, and then archers. So if we want to complete this quest in a single lobby, then we must prioritize our travel to focus our kills in reverse order. With that in mind, we can realistically place our data into clusters, eligible melee and eligible range targets. Now, if we overlay that data onto the Goblin Caves map, with eligible melee as yellow and eligible range as purple, it would look something like this. The next thing we should do is eliminate any modules that have no eligible targets. That's 4 of them. And then we want to highlight high priority zones. These are places we should try and move towards as a primary focus on our route. And finally, we can look at this image to eliminate low priority areas that don't serve as connections between these high yield zones. And, just like that, our routes become much more evident. Before we look at our routes, there are 2 locations I want to show just to add clarity, and that's for C1 and C2, both of which feature in all 4 routes. The reason for this is that they contain the greatest cluster of ranged enemies in short travel proximity. When in C1, make sure you're not shying away from the upstairs, and C2 is our most important module as it contains a lever on the bottom floor that leads to 3 ranged enemies. Our routes are divided into 4 pathings, depending on which quadrant of the map that you spawn on. When you spawn, your first priority should be to either travel to the nearest starting position of one of these routes, or if you spawn in the middle of one of these routes, choose the one farthest from completion, see it through, and use any leftover time to clear neighboring zones before extracting. For the northwest spawn, we want to travel south along the western edge, clearing the zones as we pass through, taking a detour to our C2 lever, and then backtracking back upstairs, continuing south until we break east, clear, and extract in E2. For the southwest spawn, we're sort of working in reverse, but not exactly. We're trying to cut through towards the east, exiting E2 down the spider ramp, carving around in a hook towards the center, cutting west towards our C2 lever spot, backtracking and up the ramp through C2, and then clearing C1 and B1 before extracting via the triple portals. For the northeast spawn, we want to clear out A4, which is great for axemen and archers, carve east through the south side of B5, and take a long hook around C5 back towards the center. From there, it's the same path as the southwest route. The southeast side is the worst of the 4, so much so that our priority is to get out quickly. We basically want to make it to the D4 troll spawn as quickly as possible, then carve over to D3, which connects us to the southwest route, where we then follow the same path. but in order to snag a few more essential kills, we'll travel beyond B1 when we arrive to clear out A1, travel into A2 on the north side, and then through the center of A2 to extract via the rope. And that's it. Clear one of these 4 routes one time and you should be finished with Away with the Greenskins. Thanks for watching, and happy delving.